Oh god. Okay, so this is what we're doing. So I'm back again for the fifth time. I don't know. Fuck. Well, I haven't recorded since like last year. Well, technically like 2 months, but shit, that's really bad. I really should. But yeah, I haven't recorded in 2 months. How have you guys been? Good, good. I hope so. If you're like, holy shit, it's like quiet as fuck. I don't hear your demon siblings yelling in the background anymore. I actually am in my mother's closet right now. That's how dedicated I am to you niggas. Like, you guys should appreciate me more. Nah, but I'm really sorry about just not, recording and all. You know the spiel. Like, if I said all this, you guys would be like, alright, skip to when he starts fucking saying the video. God, he talks too much. Yeah, I know, I talk too much. But I have one last little message, alright? But it's gonna be quiet, alright? I don't want nobody hearing this, alright? So you're gonna have to turn up your mics real loud, alright? Turn it up, no, turn it up. Alright, make sure your speakers are on, like, max volume, alright? Like, maximum volume. Alright, now that I've done that, I hope you guys weren't around your family. Actually, no, I don't. I don't care. Tell me if you were in the comments, Tell me if I set you guys up for failure. If you're in the middle of class, oh, please tell me you're in the middle of class. That'll be great. I know the embarrassment you're sitting next to your crush. She looks over, what was that? Or, I don't know how your crush fucking talks. Maybe it's a guy. I don't judge. Well, maybe I do. I don't know. But, alright, either way, if you guys can read, which I'd be worried if you couldn't, you can tell that this video, alright, this is what if Deku became Springtrap, alright? And I'm gonna honestly be trying to make it pretty, I don't think scary, but at least make it like if you're listening to a horror audiobook. But I be messing up what I'm saying a lot, so I'll be like, what's it called, all that, God damn, I've been rambling for 2 minutes already, 10 more minutes, and then I'm good. I can just end this video. Nah, but I'll give you guys a long one. Comment down below if you want to see more of this. I actually recently started watching a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's sort of videos, which is funny because I never actually watched any before, like Security Breach, but then it was cool. I even got to play freaking Five Nights at Freddy's VR because my friend had one. That shit is scary, bro. Like, these motherfuckers are bigger than I thought, bro. They're tall as shit. But, But anywho, alright, I'll stop rambling and I'll get on to the video. So, the way we're gonna start off how we always start off. Alright, Deku's a little boy. He's a good kid, of course, 4 years old. He goes to the quirk doctor with his mother because it's around the time where most normal kids get their quirks. He goes there, he talks to the doctor says, I'm sorry, kid, but you don't have a quirk. And, Izuku, of course, he's heartbroken, he's sad, but, he isn't as hurt as last time because he at least has another thing that he loves just as much as Heroes. He loves this pizzeria diner. It's called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and he absolutely loves it. It's not a big place. It's not Freddy Fazbear's Entertainment, at least not yet. It's just a small little, pizzeria and a diner near the house. And Deku absolutely loves it. He and his friend Bakugo used to always go there. At least, that was until Bakugo learned that Deku doesn't have a quirk. After this, Deku decided, he was really upset. He was crying. He kept watching the All Might videos repeatedly, just like in canon. But this time, Inko was like, you know what, Izuku, come on, let's go to Freddy Fazbear's. Alright, I almost said Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's go to Freddy Fazbear's and get some pizza and you can see the animatronics. And the I'm pretty sure isn't Foxy your favorite? You know, Deku's like, yeah, Foxy's my favorite. You know, he jumps up and, you know, he's ready to go, and, you know, Inko takes him there, and, you know, she goes there, you know, just going over to the pizzeria. It's not a crazy amount of people, but what's it called? It's an average amount. So Deku, you know, he goes there with his mom. You know, they're walking around, seeing the big Freddy animatronic, and, you know, he has like his little Foxy plush that he won after playing a game. You know, he's just happy, and then all of a sudden Inko's nose starts to move a little bit. You know, she's like, damn, what is that? Like, you know, she starts smelling something, and it's rancid. It smells awful, you know. She doesn't know what it is. But then, like, after a little bit more, she's like, it's unbearable how bad it smells, you know. Deku's a little kid. He smells it, but, you know, he tries to ignore it because he just loves Five Nights at Freddy's. But he notices that it's closer to the animatronics in the security room. And, you know, Deku, you know, he walks over to, like, the Freddy because it really smells over there, you know. When he looks over to his right, he sees this man in a purple suit with a little security badge standing next to him. He's like, hey kid, you lost? You know, Deku looks around, he realizes he doesn't see his mother, and he's like, I might be a little bit lost. He's like, why don't you let me help you out? You know, if you come over to the security office, I can do an all call so that your mother can know that, you know, you're around here somewhere. And, you know, Deku's like, because this is Five Nights at Freddy's, and he can see this guy's a security officer, you know. He's like, alright, yeah. You know, he starts, goddamn.
Are you done?
No, I'm not. Can you leave, please?
Are you talking to Sammy?
No, that's my cousin. Give me a second. As you can see, not as much privacy as I'd like. But, you know. But hopefully that didn't ruin the experience. But yeah, Deku, he says, sure, yeah, I can follow you, because, you know, it's a security officer. If you're going to trust anybody, trust the security officer. And he starts following this man over to this closet, and this weird feeling fills Deku's chest, like something instinctual inside of him keeps telling him, don't take another step. You know, this kind man doesn't seem weird at all. If anyone's to trust, it's obviously a security guard. So he keeps following him and following him. Finally, right before they reach the door, Inko runs over. Oh, that's where you are, Izuku. And, you know, Izuku's like, Mom! And, you know, he runs over to her, gives her a hug, and, you know, Inko looks over to the security guard. You know, the guy, he doesn't look relieved. Relieved how a normal security guard would look if, you know, a lost child found his parents. He almost looks upset. But Inko doesn't really think about that too much. She just thanks the man, you know, she's like, let's go home, Izuku. And, you know, Izuku, he's like, okay, you know, Inko starts walking out faster than she normally would, just because she has this sort of weird vibe, especially from the smell and the vibe that guy let out. She just doesn't really want to stay here for too much longer. Eventually, Inko gets outside. You know, the man in the purple suit, well, we'll just call him the purple guy. He waves Izuku goodbye, and Izuku waves back, because that's a nice thing to do. After about a week, Inko and Izuku are watching TV when they learn that the pizzeria has been closed for health issues. You know, Deku, he is distraught, man. Not only has he found out he doesn't have a quirk, but in the same week, his favorite pizzeria diner just got closed down. Deku doesn't know what to think. He's super upset right now. And, he's of course crying to his mother, like, we should have stayed longer, everything. It's just a sad day for him. And, Inko, she's upset as well. She's sad because she knows that Deku loved the diner, but she's also slightly relieved in a way, just because she's been hearing about these kids missing, about 5 of them around that area, and she didn't know what to think. Luckily, it wasn't anything involving that, right? So after that, the pizzeria closes, everybody just moves on with life, and then we're gonna time skip to around middle school, but not where the anime starts, a little bit earlier in the middle school year, probably like second semester. No, actually, if UA is a college, then it's always a high school. But basically, Deku, we're gonna say it's middle school. So Deku, he still, like, remembers Freddy Fazbear's, and he still remembers loving it, but now he's like a teenager, so he's like, oh yeah, I liked it as a kid, but he still has a Foxy plushie or two. So after school, of course, it's the same thing as usual. Bakugo is bullying Deku, and so is his grunts, and everybody's just bullying Deku, and Deku's having a bad day. Bakugo actually says, Deku, isn't your birthday like next week? Deku is like, yeah, it is. Well, why? Deku kind of has a little bit of hope after hearing this. He thinks maybe Bakugo won't, bully him for that day at least, or maybe he'll leave him alone for a while since it's going to be his birthday. Bakugo is like, well, I think me and my friends here are going to take you somewhere. Deku's confused, but he just thinks that Bakugo is going to take him somewhere for his birthday. And Deku, being a kid with no friends, remembering that Bakugo used to be his friend, is ecstatic by this. He's super excited to have his freaking friend invite him somewhere. He doesn't even know where yet, but somewhere. So Bakugo's like, meet me Saturday after school. Alright, well, Saturday after school. Alright, what's wrong with me? He says, meet me Saturday. Probably like around school would normally end. Deku is like, alright, yeah, that'll be great. After that, Deku heads home. He tells his mom, oh mom, guess what? Bakugo, I don't know what it is, but he's finally starting to be nicer. He's finally starting to really, not be as mean as he was before. Inko's happy to hear this because she does remember when Bakugo and Deku used to be friends. So, of course, she's like, oh, that's so good. I really miss when you two would play together and, Bakugo would come over, all that. Deku, he's like, yeah, me too. I'm just, glad he's treating me better and all that stuff. After that, Deku finally, he decides, alright, I'm gonna go to bed, because he just finished dinner. I'm gonna go to bed. And he goes to sleep, and yeah, he just has sweet dreams, nothing issue. And now we're gonna time skip to that Saturday. It's Deku's birthday. He just became, how old do we want to say, like 16? Yeah, we'll say he just became 16. Deku just became 16, and he's excited. He has a plan to go do something with his friends. So far, this is planning out to be his best birthday ever. Now then, Deku heads out to meet Bakugo where they arranged, and he sees Bakugo and his grunts. Bakugo seems to just be waiting there with his grunts talking, and Deku walks over. He's like, hey, sorry I'm late. My mom needed to help with something before I left the house. Bakugo walks over and pats his back. It's fine, man. Trust me. We're just gonna hang out the whole day, man. And, Deku's like, alright, yeah, that's great. And they do just that. They hang out all day. They go to the mall. They go around to a basketball court. Deku's kind of trash just because, he's never really done anything like this. And yeah, they just have a fun day all around. And then it starts to get dark. It's around this time that Deku's like, hey guys, I had a lot of fun today, but I really think I should be going. Bakugo and his goons look over to Deku and they're like, wait, we got one more place to go. Deku's like, one more place to go? He's like, yeah, man, just one more place and we'll be done, bro. Deku's like, they've really been nice to me today. They've really treated me well and stuff like that. Why not, So Deku goes and follows Bakugo, and he notices they go to this abandoned building. And, Deku, he feels like he recognizes the building, but he doesn't quite remember from where, He's like, what the hell? Deku's like, is this where we're going? And, Bakugo and his goons are like, yeah, this place, it's like haunted or something. It's like a haunted house or something. It's cool as crap, man. Apparently, like, people died in here or something. Deku's like, I don't know if I should be going here. Bakugo, like, he walks over and pats Deku's back. He's like, come on, man. We haven't led you astray all day. Of course we're gonna be great to you today. And right here, this is a cool place. Come on. Just check it out. I'm pretty sure, didn't you used to love this place as a kid? And, Deku's like, what? I love this place as a kid. What are you talking about? And, basically Bakugo's like, this is the old Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, man. Old Freddy Fazbear's, entertainment area. Deku's like, oh yeah, Freddy Fazbear's. He's like, oh yeah, I'd love to go in there and check it out. Maybe they clean it up every once in a while. Like, Bakugo's like, yeah. What's it called? Deku kind of forgot about what Bakugo said about people dying. But, he didn't even think much of it, so what could it possibly mean, So after that, Deku, he heads inside with Bakugo and his goons. They're walking inside. The roof is leaking, it's dusty. It seems like spiders are crawling in every corner, Deku's like, damn, they didn't maintain this place at all. Bakugo's like, they did have to close it down, so I don't think they had to maintain it. Deku's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. After that, Bakugo's like, hey, do you think they still have animatronics in the back room? Deku's like, yeah, they probably do, And Bakugo's like, let's go check it out, man. They go over to the back room area and they notice, lo and behold, there's a few animatronics. About 4 of them are standing up and 2 of them are just resting on the ground. Bakugo, he walks over and he's like, look at this, bro. They got Freddy, I think her name was Chica, and I think that's Bonnie, and there's Foxy. What's it called? And Deku's like, whoa, they really got the whole gang. And one of Bakugo's goons points over and they're like, hey, look, they got another Freddy and Bonnie, but they look like yellow or something, maybe gold, I don't know. Bakugo's like, yeah, I heard of those ones. Those ones are actually like suits that people used to wear that could become animatronics. It was crazy. Deku's like, wait, they were like suits, like Iron Man or something? Basically Bakugo's like, yeah, they were suits. It's crazy. He looks over to Deku and he's like, bro, why don't you try one on? And like, Deku's like, what? What do you mean? Like, try one on, man. Like, it's just a suit. It's not gonna hurt you or anything, And like, Deku's a bit confused. He's like, I don't know about this one, guys. Basically now, Bakugo's like, bro, just try it out. Like, why not? And Deku's like, I really don't think this is a good idea. Bakugo and his goons are now trying to, like, peer pressure Deku into it. Like, come on, bro, just do it. Like, it's just a suit. Like, it's not gonna really do anything to you. Never give in to peer pressure, kids. But, it's just a suit. It's not gonna fucking hurt you. Come on, try it, bro. Try it. Deku's like, I really don't think this is a good idea. And, Bakugo's true colors showed for a second. As, he kind of grabbed Deku by the collar of his shirt and said, listen, why don't you try it out, Deku then heard a few pops of familiar explosions, just small ones, but enough to let Deku realize this wasn't really an option thing. So, Deku's like, alright, I'll try it out, I guess. So, after a little bit, Deku, he needs a little bit of help, so they help him put on the suit, put on each piece. Deku, he puts it on. He's like, this thing feels so weird. I don't even know what the hell's up with it. He looks over to Bakugo. He's like, what do you think, man? Bakugo's like, it looks pretty good, actually. I mean, you seem to be about the right height for it. Deku's like, I think I should take this off now. Bakugo, he's like, can you guys help me out? And, Bakugo and his goons, they're a little less, they're a little less talkative, After that, Bakugo basically tells Deku, yeah, we'll help you out. Just, there might be something over there. And, basically, Deku turns around and try to look for something that'll help him out. After that, Bakugo and his goons can be heard running. Deku turns around and he sees that they ran and they're outside the room door. And, Bakugo basically is like looking out the door. And, well, not like looking out the door, but he's like, the door's open and he's standing at it. He's like, why don't you spend the night here? For a happy birthday celebration. Deku's like, what? At least get me, like, out of the suit or something, man. Like, you can't make me sleep here, man. Come on, it's my birthday. You can't do this, Bakugo. And Bakugo's like, who says I can't? Then, one of, Bakugo was about to close the door, and Deku, like, tries to run over to get to it. And right as Deku is running, something drips from the ceiling. Since it was so leaky, there's holes. A little bit of a water droplet leaked in and fell on the suit. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of spring lock mechanics, but these things are very, very dangerous. They're bad to use with water, and Deku running alone was dangerous. But now that water has hit it, suit's gonna malfunction. And right before Bakugo and his goons' eyes, all the metal pieces holding back the animatronic parts, all the metal pieces holding off the animatronic parts, they just come undone. And right then, as Deku's running over, well, he stops at that moment. Bakugo's confused because Deku only made it like halfway. And right then, Deku's eyes weren't really widened as he didn't even realize what happened. He just saw blood splatter outside of the suit. It shot in every direction. It covered the walls, the animatronics. It even got on Bakugo. Bakugo and his goons looked horrified, right? And Deku was confused. He didn't know what happened. But right then, out of nowhere, he looked at his hands and realized this was his blood. As he slowly realized, and his nerves caught up to him, as he felt the metal pieces digging through his skin, stabbing and breaking into his bones, and piercing his organs. The pain is unmeasurable. It's hard to even explain. He could feel his muscles tearing from the sharp metal rods just stabbing into him as Deku fell over onto the ground, sitting there, lifeless. Bakugo and his goons were just absolutely horrified. They heard about spring lock suits being easily able to break, but they didn't expect this. They look around and they decide, we need to get the hell out of here. They close the door, lock it, run out, and then close the other door. And they run. They run like there's no world behind them. Because right now, all of them are murderers. All of them killed Deku. Now we're gonna take a bit of a time skip. Right now we're gonna follow Bakugo's perspective through all this. Bakugo has now just finished high school. He's mostly pushed the thought of what happened to Deku behind him. Inko filed a missing report for Deku. Bakugo told Deku's mom that Deku just started heading home after it got dark, and then they didn't see him afterwards. There was not really any camera evidence because Bakugo just said they were all heading the same way, and then they split off. And Inko knew that there was a split off from their neighborhoods because she knows where Bakugo lives, so she didn't expect anything of it. She was horrified. Her baby was gone. And she doesn't know where he is or if he's even alive. Now then, the teacher asks everyone, what do you all want to be when you grow up? And right when he says that, he laughs and throws the paper in the air. I'm just kidding. I know you all want to be heroes. And everyone starts cheering and using their quirk. Everyone in the room, except for Bakugo, of course. You know, he still has his arrogance. He has to keep up an image, after all. He gets up, he's like, you wannabe losers can't get into UA. Only I'm here. Only I'm gonna be the top dog, yada yada. My quirk's insane, you guys are trash. Basically telling them all to go shove it. And this time in canon, Bakugo is kind of right. He's the only person to have gone to sign up to go to UA. I mean, there's no Deku around to do so. You know, Bakugo, he still hasn't really thought of Deku in a while, but he knows that it's around the time when Deku's birthday is gonna come around again. Well, his birthday would come around again if he was alive, that is. Bakugo's kind of made this sort of thing where every year on Deku's birthday, he'll come around Five Nights at Freddy's, Fazbear Entertainment, and just stand in front of it for a little bit, just to think, I can't believe I killed him. Because, in truth, Bakugo isn't, well, I was gonna say isn't an awful person, but Bakugo isn't really a murderer. He wouldn't actually do that to Deku. No matter how much he talks about, I'll kill you, yada yada yada, he's never actually gonna do it. But unlike then, Deku's dead. His friends, well, the other kids, they just asked their parents to move schools. They didn't want to be involved at all. You know, Bakugo also asked, but Mitsuki said, it's too much, you're not switching schools. And Bakugo just stuck around. So, it's the night of a Saturday. Bakugo heads over to the pizzeria. He doesn't go straight to it because that'll look a bit weird. But, you know, there's a bus stop right down the street. You know, he just sits there and he looks over at it. He just thinks, I can't believe I fucking killed him. Shit. Damn it. Bakugo, as he sort of mourns to himself, he feels like there's something watching him. Something sinister. As you know, Bakugo looks to his right and he doesn't see anything. You know, he looks to his left, he doesn't see anything. And keep in mind, it's pretty dark. It's night out, you know. And he looks in front of him, and the light of the, what's it called? The street light, right there. It's flickering on and off and on and off, repeatedly, over and over. Bakugo kind of thinks to himself, they really need to fix this side of town. And then the light just turns off completely. And you know, Bakugo's like, I guess this area is a shit show anyway. And then, but weirdly, in the darkness, he sees two glowing eyes. And he's confused. He's like, what is that? Two glowing eyes just staring deep into his soul, looking at him like it wants to kill him. Bakugo, he's never felt this kind of bloodlust before. A sort of bloodlust to where he wouldn't just be satisfied killing Bakugo. He'd be satisfied only by tearing Bakugo down mentally and then killing him slowly. Very, very slowly. Deku, well, why did I say Deku? Bakugo, he's like, what the hell? He rubs his eyes a little bit, and the lights flicker back on, and there's nothing. Bakugo, he's like, oh, what the hell is wrong with me? Alright, I need to get the hell out of here. So, you know, Bakugo gets up, and he starts walking home. He gets there, and he can't sleep, but he just decides to sit there for a while, sit and not really think about anything. He's trying to just clear his mind, but he can't get the thought of those glowing eyes out of his head. Then Bakugo wakes up, and well, he doesn't wake up per se, but he hears a knock on his door, his room door, and, you know, he's like, what the hell is it? You know, it's Mitsuki, and she's like, Katsuki, you need to come in here. It's serious. You know, Bakugo, he gets up, and he's like, alright, what is it? Mitsuki, you know, she's sitting there with her hands together, and he can notice that they're shaking. You know, Bakugo's a bit confused. He's like, what's going on, Mom? Why are your hands shaking like that? You know, basically, she looks over to Bakugo and she says, Bakugo, you're gonna want to sit down for this, since you knew these people well, you know. And basically, Bakugo's confused as he sits down across from his mother, and his mother looks over to Bakugo. She says, Katsuki, you remember your friends who recently, well, not recently, but a few years ago, they moved to different schools? You know, Bakugo's like, yeah, I knew him. What about him? And she looks over, she's like, yesterday at about around midnight, a few people were walking around and they found your friends dead. You know, Bakugo's confused, like, what? What do you mean, dead? And she looks over to him and she tells him they were walking through the street, having a normal day. I'm guessing it was a couple on a date or something. And they turned the corner into an alleyway and they saw the two dead. They called the police, and after about the night was over, they realized who it was. It was, I'm gonna come up with names for these two. It was Kazumi and Raiko. Kazumi was, it's almost impossible to describe what he was like. He was torn apart brutally. There was tears, and we could visibly see grab marks around him. And the only thing that was really intact at all was his head. Wow. Cosme. Did I say Cosme or Raiko? I'm gonna say Raiko. Raiko was another story entirely. It looked like Raiko had been eaten by some sort of monster even. Still, the only thing there was their heads. Bago, he's incredibly shocked. He's like, what? I can't believe it, He's like, I think I talked to them about a month ago, just calling to check on some old friends and all, but I can't believe they're gone and they got murdered even. And she's like, that's not the worst part though, Katsuki. And, Bakugo's like, what is it? And she tells him the police saw that in that alleyway on the wall, written in blood, was, "You're next." And Bakugo, he was a bit surprised. He's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? She says, I don't know, Katsuki, but I'm scared for you. I think we're gonna move, honestly. And Bakugo tells her, but I need to go to UA. I'm a strong mom. I'm not gonna die to some fucking villain or anything. And then he says, plus, I didn't even know them for whatever kind of mess they got into. Oh gosh, again. I don't even know what kind of crap they got into, so they might have just done something dumb and ended up like that. She's still worried, but she's at least a little relieved, hoping that maybe, her son isn't in that much danger, hopefully. As she's like, alright, you can go to UA. Make sure to train hard and be safe, alright? And Bakugo agrees. So, let me just see that. I just need to check something. My bad. Alright. So after that, Bakugo, he's thinking in his room. He's like, what the hell? Who could have done that? Like, who in the world? Does anybody have, a grudge against us? Bakugo thinks back, and there were a few people who had a grudge, but nobody with enough strength to do that to both of them even. So he thinks maybe it could have been a gang of people. Maybe it could just been them, or just been one person who's strong. God, I don't even know what to think. He decides to try to just rest in bed and remember the old memories he had of them. And yeah, he goes to sleep. Now we're gonna time skip around 10 months. It's time to go to UA. Bakugo, he wakes up bright and early. He's ready to go. He's been training hard for these 10 months, making sure he's not weak enough to be caught off guard by anyone. Bakugo, he looks over and he tells himself, this will be it. This will be where I become the number one hero. If you're wondering about the sludge villain incident, All Might handled it pretty well, I guess. I don't know. After that, Bakugo, he heads in, he doesn't trip, he isn't Deku after all. He heads in, he listens to the whole speech, Ida doesn't yell at him because he's quiet. And yeah, it's just, everything's fine. Bakugo still goes through the test of fame, he gets first place, he does even a little bit better than he did in canon. And what else can I even do? Should I give you? No, I won't give it. I won't give it to you. But basically, after that, it's around. We're gonna do like another sort of time skip. This will be a bigger one. Well, not bigger one, but just one where you'll notice it skipping a few parts in the anime, just because a lot of it would go the same, except there isn't really Deku. So we're gonna skip we're gonna skip that quirk apprehension test, because that goes about the same, except instead of Deku being in last place, it's who is under him? Invisible Girl or Mineta? It doesn't even matter. Not Bakugo, fucking Aizawa just tells him, you all passed, it was a psychological ruse, yada yada yada. And then after that, Aizawa then, not Aizawa. So everyone's at lunch. We're gonna go to the lunch scene. I don't usually even do this scene, but it will work for reasons. So everybody's in the lunch. It's around the daytime. Bakugo, he's sitting with Kirishima. What's it called? Kirishima. Oh my god, I'm forgetting people's names. God, has it really been that long? Yeah, alright. He's sitting with Kirishima, Denki, Sero, and Mina. Just chilling out there, He's also made another friend, this round-faced girl, Uraka Ochako. She thanks him just because he saved her during the exams. And, Bakugo thinks nothing of it because he's trying to be a hero, but he does brag a bit because he's Bakugo. So after this, Bakugo, he's sitting there just chilling out, talking to his friends, when the open windows get covered by the metal sheets telling them that it's an emergency, right? There's an emergency going on, and the lights start flashing red, and like there's an intruder in the school, yada yada yada. And right when, everybody's about to run towards the doors, the lights just turn off. And because the metal sheets, are in the way, everybody just stops and, looks around. Crap, what the hell's going on? And, they're all just rushing for the door. But before even one person can make it through, there's a pair of glowing eyes right in the start of that door, and everyone freezes. Everyone stops. You just see the light flashing, the red lights flashing, and they begin to make out this figure that stands tall, very tall, probably around 6'6", or maybe even 7 feet tall. And it looks down at them with these bunny eyes and oh my god, these bunny ears and these tears and holes and almost this flesh-like muscle inside of it, as they can barely even make it out through all the flashing. Everyone's just looking at it, but it's looking at one person, and that one person's looking right back at him. Bakugo staring at this mechanical, freakish figure as it's staring right back at him. Bakugo, he backs up a little bit as once the red lights dissipate and flash again. The figure's gone, and everybody's just shocked and horrified and doesn't know what to think. Immediately, the teachers, right after that, they get there with flashlights. They're like, "Is everyone okay?" Everybody's too shook to really respond. Everyone just looks around, wanting to know if everyone else saw what they saw. And from the expressions, they're right. Everyone did see the same thing. A freak. Of course, the UA has to close for a bit because now it's revealed that an intruder got in, and let's just say the League of Villains are pretty upset because they were planning on using these plans they got, but due to some unseen circumstance, someone breaking in at the same time as them, what the hell's the chance? They think maybe this is a person who hates All Might too. Maybe they can use this person even. But, they don't know. So they're not going to really test anything out. I've been recording for 46 minutes. I could continue. Or I could end here on a cliffhanger. I'll keep going. So after that, Bakugo's pretty damn horrified because it's that same pair of eyes, but now it's attached to a body that he recognizes. It's that same suit. It has some wear and tear after a few years, but it's the same suit. Bakugo is now really scared because he knows whatever is after him, or whatever killed his friends, which was probably the same suited figure, is definitely after him. And judging from how this person just disappeared and reappeared, he doesn't know what to think. You're probably thinking, Aizawa, Springtrap doesn't have this sort of power in the game or anything like that. You know what? Screw you, I'll do what I want. But just, FNAF is confusing, alright? If they can have a Spring plush trap, then I can have Springtrap just disappearing and reappearing, alright? So, Bakugo, he's worried, so he decides, I'm gonna just text my friends. So he texts Denki and, all them, and Uraka's also in the group chat, they're just chilling out, Basically, everybody's just chill. It allows Bakugo to calm down. They talk a bit about what they saw, but, Mina and, Uraka, they're like, oh, we don't want to talk about that anymore, that was horrifying. Bakugo's like, yeah, I guess I can agree. Denki's like, oh, you chicken. And, they just have that argument. So after that, it's when UA reopens up, and Aizawa assures students, because of the last break-in, we moved all of our schedules around for things. So today, actually, we're going to be going to the USJ. A few people are confused. They're like, the USJ, and, Aizawa explains it's a place to practice saving people. It's going to put you through, hero situations that you should be prepared for, right? And, a few people are psyched up, and, Uraka gets especially psyched up after she hears that the Hero 13 is there. I don't know if you've ever heard, but the 13 will be there. Oh my god, I'm such a big fan. But, yeah. So 13 will be there. And Uraka's psyched out, and Bakugo's like, I've heard of 13, but I don't know. I never really was much of a rescue hero type. Also, if you don't know, we also skipped the heroes versus villains just because that didn't really have any relevance to what I wanted to do. Yeah. So yeah, the USJ shit happened, USJ, that's about to happen. They're about to go to USJ. And since they changed on the schedule, the league of villains can't really be there. So, they all walk into the USJ and they're chilling out. They're like, alright, so there's different areas. There's an ice area, there's a fire area, areas, this area, that area, water, fucking, I don't know, fucking desert, rocky biome, I don't care. But what's it called? There's different areas, and you're gonna be saving people in these different areas, right? So, everybody's psyched out for this, but, Aizawa does tell them, by the way, you won't actually be saving real people, you'll be having these save dummies, and, he shows them a few, just practice dummies that they'd use for, practicing, car crashes to see if a car was safe or not. So, they try it out, they're like, alright, we can just save these things, and they're like, yeah, they even artificially swim and all that. So, Aizawa, he looks over and he's like, alright, we're just gonna have you guys do this in waves. And everybody, they take turns doing this. Denki, they're all using their quirks. Denki uses his shit in the water, which is really bad, and Aizawa scolds him a lot for that. But, he basically tells Denki, that wasn't an ideal situation for you, so, what's it called? I'm not gonna scold you too hard since your quirk is literally electricity. But, so after that, not Deku, God, Bakugo, he's taking his turn, he's saving people from the ice area, which is a bit bad for him because, he isn't sweating as much, so he's slowing down, but he is also making a lot of momentum and using his quirk electric, causing him to sweat, but he is getting cold, so, it's a bit counterintuitive a little bit. So, Bakugo, he saves his person, and finally, they tell Sero, alright, you're going to be going to the fire area, and you're going to have your own, test when you save, it's going to be in that building, you have to go through a few, obstacles, which aren't really, real villains or anything, it's just, cardboard cutouts of villains. And Sero's like, alright, yeah, I'll handle that. So, Sero, after this, he's Spider-Maning along like the Spider-Man he is, and, basically he's jumping from building to building, climbing in, he gets into this window, and he gets into the room where the dummy would be, and it's not there. And Sero's a bit confused, but right before Sero can really think where the hell's the dummy at, his first thought is, alright, before he can even think where the hell is the dummy, he hears these footsteps behind him, and they're loud. And, Sero's like, what the hell? And they're not just loud, but they're fast, and they're coming faster and faster and faster and faster, and then he turns around and there's nothing. Sero's confused until he hears a clank of metal behind him. He turns around and then he sees that same figure he saw on that lunch day, staring right down at him. Sero is frozen in fear. He's thinking to himself, what the hell is this thing? Where the hell did this thing come from? He sees that it reaches over to its jaws, to its jaw, and there's two little buttons, notice, right on the left and right side, so it reaches over and touches both parts. It's right then he hears the of the jaw unhinging open. Sero is confused, what the hell are you? And before he can really even get a word out, a scream even, I think you could assume what happened. Right there, after a while, Aizawa was just sitting there with his timer thinking it should not have took Sero this long. He looks over and he's like, Bakugo, Todoroki, they both nod, basically Aizawa points, he's like, go check on Sero, it's taking him longer than it should. And, a few people are a little worried, but nobody really thinks anything of it. So, Bakugo, he's using his explosions to push himself forward. Todoroki's skating on ice and all that. And they finally get to the room where the test dummy's supposed to be. And they look over and they see Sarah in the corner of the room. They're like, Sarah, what's up, man? Why are you just standing there, bro? You know? So they walk over and Bakugo walks over and he's like, hey, Sarah. And, you know, he touches his shoulder and it's weird. His hand is covered in something. He's like, what the hell? And he pulls his hand away and he looks at it. And it's a very familiar red liquid that he's dealt with before, seeing as he's seen it splattered all over him one night. He looks over to Sarah and then sees that his eyes are open, but they're not full of life how they normally would be. They're empty. They're lifeless. Then Bakugo's like, what the hell is this? What the hell is going on? You know, he turns around and he sees behind Todoroki there's a figure. And he points, Todoroki, watch out! You know, Todoroki immediately turns around and jumps back. You know, he gets away from this figure. As Todoroki's like, who the hell are you? And this figure stands before them, insane, glowing eyes that haunt Bakugo as he looks at it. And this figure says,
oh, who am I?
He then points over at Bakugo and says,
he should know who I am. I'm the one who haunts his dreams at night. I'm the one hiding under your beds. Well, you can call me Springtrap.
Bakugo, he backs away a little bit. Todoroki looks over at Bakugo as he's confused. You know this guy? And Bakugo, he's like, no way. You died that night. I saw. This figure laughs, and it's a maniacal laugh as he slowly backs away into the shadows. Todoroki, knowing that this guy's gonna escape, he gets a handful of fire and just throws it towards him. Because at this point, Todoroki doesn't care what he's using. He just is scared. And when the fire reaches over the light, there's nothing there. It's gone. He already disappeared into the shadows. Todoroki then looks over at Bakugo and says, you've got some explaining to do. And that, my friends, is where I'm going to leave off part 1 of What If Deku Became Springtrap. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I put a lot of effort. I tried not to be hell like I usually am, because after like an hour, I just sound tired, which I usually am. But this was a lot of fun, because I just imagined the whole thing through, and it's just like watching a fucking What If. But yeah, and yeah, I don't even know what I was saying. My sister came by for the 3rd time. I'll have to find another recording area, god damn it. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this off.